Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Ladders Down After Dark, a podcast of streamers by streamers and for streamers where we discuss everyday topics brought up by you, the Ladders Down community. We are the Ladders Down admin team, and I am joined by the rest of the admin team, and we're going to start off with some introductions, just in case you don't know all of us. Thank you for all the dance spam. You guys look beautiful. We're going to start way over here on the end with Ladders Down's fearless marble racing leader. Go ahead.
What's up, guys? I am Fish Suit. That's all I have. Gamer Heroin.
That's it.
No, thank you guys so much for being here. This is episode 5. We made it through 4 other episodes of this, you guys.
On time, with no cancellations.
On time, no cancellations. Can we just address the elephant in the room for a second here? Is Waffle Cone looking swole tonight, or is it just me?
I think the t-shirt's smaller than normal.
You're muted. GH, you're muted.
If I could
Now, can you talk about how swole
right
Waffle Cone is looking tonight? Because Waffle Cone looking like a snack.
Oh gosh, if I had $1 every time I did that. It's been a while though. It's been a while.
What, talking about me gets swole? Yeah, you talk about that a lot.
One of us has to goof up, right?
Welcome to the Ladders Down podcast, episode 5, you guys. I am indeed Fish Suit, the marble racing champ of Twitch. That's what my
Grandmaster.
GM, Minion Masters, Grandmaster. What other accolades? I mean, keep heaping them on here, Dice, because
World's greatest nug smasher.
Oh, that's true. Hey, listen. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll send it over to my left.
No, you're right, but
I mean, as you're looking at
Stage left.
the screen,
Stage-
it is
stage
my
left.
left. I said my left. Podcast over.
well, I turned on mute. Somebody else had to mess up, and I had to highlight it. It's like a requirement. Like Waffle's broken.
I'm broken?
You looked a little broken.
I'm always broken.
Oh man. Yep, my name's Gamer Heroin, also known as GH. I play games and stuff and do the arts. That's what I do. And I apparently drink too much sometimes on stream.
Waffle Cone, lead with your deadlift. What's your deadlift?
A deadlift? I've never even done a deadlift, so no idea. But my name is Waffle Cone for stupid reasons that I can't explain here. But I hope everyone's having a fantastic night. Having
Actually,
a great week
never
so far.
asked. Yeah,
It's
what is?
too long of a story for?
I've never questioned it.
I think we all want to know. What's
Really
the origin?
stupid. Okay, as quick as I can. Has anyone heard of the game called Coconuts? It's a game where you have little monkeys and they have little springs that you put the coconuts in their hand. You try and launch the coconuts into cups in the center of the game board, and you try and take the cups if your coconut lands in there. Anyways, there's a card in the game where there's a picture on it that looks like a waffle cone, but it's not actually a waffle cone. But regardless of the fact that it wasn't a waffle cone, anytime we play this game, if someone gets that card, I would scream waffle cone at the top of my lungs. And so people just started calling me Waffle Cone in my board game group, and that's why my name is Waffle Cone.
Now, the real question is, if it wasn't a waffle cone, what was it?
I kind of forget. I think it was like some sort of like,
Because that's your real name.
Like cone, like it was a cone, but it was like a net or something. I don't really know.
This must
some
be
Japanese game.
This must be a Kentucky thing, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Coconut is like a legit board game. It's like look up coconuts.
I've worked at board game playing places. I've sold board games for so many years. I've never heard of this.
I call bullshit, Waffle Cone.
He just made that up. He made it up right now.
I'm gonna share with you guys. It just came out yesterday. It's this thing called Google. Go out, take a look at it, see what happens.
Is that like Ask Jeeves?
Insane. Yes, it's exactly like Ask Jeeves.
Okay.
God, I forgot about that.
Go to Alta Vista, type in Ask Jeeves, and click on Ask Jeeves, and then ask Jeeves to go to Google.
Let me get my phone book. What? Okay, and
Oh gosh.
my name is No Dice TV, and I'm just happy to be here for episode 5 of what has been a long time in the works. Fish Suit, normally this is where I toss it over to you for discussion topics, but if so, I'd like permission to waste some time.
Please do.
Okay, so you guys, I'm sure have had like shower thoughts moments, right? Where you're just kind of standing under the water
What?
for like
I've
a
thought
half
about
hour,
stuff in the shower.
like
sure.
all the time. Yeah, and it's the most random shit. Well, you guys know that I host an annual
So
meetup,
scared.
right? I host an annual meetup for my community known as DiceCon. It's been so affectionately named DiceCon. It is in fact the fastest growing con in Indiana. Our attendance jumped 300% this year from like 4 to 12 or something. But regardless, at this last DiceCon, we got to talking over the grill. We were doing a cookout for everybody, and we started talking about streamers who will create product lines or public figures who will create a product and start a side business using their name as the thing. Like there's a radio host in Indiana named Chick McGee, and he has Chick's Vodka, right? And there's a streamer that makes a King's Coast coffee, right? And they all these sort of side projects. And it was decided then at DiceCon that I would be starting to develop a series of cooking seasonings, herbs, and barbecue dry rubs, so affectionately known as Dice's Spices.
Yeah.
And the way that it worked is when you were trying to decide what to put on your food, you literally roll a dice and then you go with it. And if you hit snake eyes, you say fuck it and you go out to eat. That's if you get snake eyes. Dice's Spices. That's my side project, right?
Okay.
So I took about 15 minutes this morning and I thought up side businesses for you guys that I think
Oh wow.
would be hilarious. So I'd like to start off with Fish Suit. So 10 years down the road, once Fish Suit is literally the face of Twitch, he's the biggest streamer in the world. He gets tired of everyone around him smelling like shit, right? He decides, I'm going to create a perfume line for streamers known as Fish's Senses. Okay? This is
Okay.
Fish's Senses. It features things such as essence of trout and musk of La Fish Tank. All right? Huge
That's
worldwide
it's a
thing
heavy
gets
musk.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
a heavy musk.
I was also working with Elon's Musk, but that's kind of a weird science joke.
I think you got off topic.
Exactly, but I just thought it was hilarious. This eventually gets picked up by Vogue. It's a worldwide hit. All right, Gamer Heroin,
I mean,
GH. All right, GH.
H.
Passionate about passing on the world of art and gaming to the next generation of youth. She develops an early childhood learning center for preschoolers that focuses on arts, crafts, music, and of course, video game development. This
Yes.
business is so affectionately called Gamers Day Heroin,
Yes.
right?
I love it.
Gamers Day Heroin. All right, waffle cone.
Oh gosh.
There's a really obvious one here where you open an ice cream shop. Don't worry.
Okay.
I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
Alright.
But
I just eat all the ice cream.
you're still in the food industry, my man. You're still in
Okay.
the food industry, all right?
I don't have my own dirt company
no, but
because that's already a thing. So.
we could have gone that route. Now,
Kentucky Dirt.
Waffle,
Family company.
Waffle, as you guys obviously know, is very passionate about Middle Eastern food. Okay, Middle Eastern food.
it's always in his beard.
Waffle opens up a falafel stand. The tagline is "Falafel so good it should be illegal." Ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to introduce you to Waffle's Unlawful Falafel.
Oh my god.
I can't say it.
The
This
best
is-
part is I hate that type of food.
Well, you don't really like waffle cones either.
I love waffle cones.
Waffles,
Talking about-
Waffles Unlawful Falafel so good it should be outlawed. So I hope you guys enjoy those and take them seriously. And one day, those are your $1 million ideas. Once you
Somehow
make
I
it
feel
big
like I
on
got the
Twitch,
bum rap here.
once you get big on
Oh.
Twitch, you can market fucking anything. So just go for it. Just get out there and do it.
Fish got like some fancy like designer colognes. GH got some really cool like hip
Dude, you don't
almost,
understand. It's really
like
good
education
falafel, man.
center. I'm the guy that's like at a freaking hot dog stand for Middle Eastern food on the corner downtown.
No,
Hey,
it's
waffles, falafel.
The other idea, the other idea, if you want to know the other one, is that what another little known fact about Waffle Cone. Trust me, I've got a lot of these. Okay, Waffle Cone is of course Jewish, and when he turned 13, he had his bar mitzvah, And so he starts a bar mitzvah party planning service passionately known as Wafseltov.
I'm glad you went with the falafel.
So am I, but he seems upset, so I'll give him the other one. He's not happy serving up the best
He's
falafel
upset.
in the world.
I feel like I took a demotion here. Which is my food stand downtown right now selling falafels.
It's a global chain, though. There's millions of them,
Oh,
every
okay,
street corner.
Okay, if it's a global
You're the
chain,
only.
every
You're
street
the only
corner.
one working there.
then we're good. Okay.
You know how hard it is to find a good falafel in Indianapolis? All right, Waffle, you
All
bring.
right, I'll bring you some.
Bring it
I'll
here,
bring you
man.
some. Believe me, if you want a good falafel, you're talking
Sorry,
to
there's
the
a
wrong
lot of
guy.
commotion out there.
Okay.
Good
Also,
times.
Fitch, I
Well
keep
done,
meaning to
dude.
point out too, your hat on your chair is the same one as this one back here.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Loot Crate buddies.
Yeah.
Illuminati confirmed.
I'm still chuckling to myself about Waffle's unlawful falafel. I hope
It's
you get
so
it.
good.
Hey,
I wanna
I'll
make a
license
logo
you
for
the
it.
idea. I promise.
Just royalties, man. I'll take them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we actually have anything streamer related?
Nope, that's the end of the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today.
I'll be here all week. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for watching. See you later.
I guess there
What?
are a few
Oh, we
topics
we
could
do. Oh,
discuss.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we just lost. Oh,
Oh
we're
no.
back. Hello.
Oh no.
See, I did it as a joke because we were ending the
Oh,
show.
okay,
Oh,
got
okay,
it.
yeah.
Oh, you scared. You
Right.
scared Nefarious.
So a lot of our topics come from our Ladders Down Discord. We have a special channel on here called After Dark Topics, and we had some pretty good discussion this week, I thought. So if anybody out there has any burning questions, there is the link to the Discord right there. Book Fairy got you. If you are just tuning into the podcast and you don't already know about Ladders Down, there's our Discord right there, and we have a special channel in there called After Dark Topics that I would recommend. If you have any burning questions you'd like us to discuss here on the podcast, that's where to put them. I kind of want to start with something that we have talked about on the show before, but I don't think we really dove in too much, and that is coming up and sticking to a regular schedule. And like how important do you think that is? Do you think it's necessary? Like, talk about I know we talked a little bit about sort of how when we set our schedules, but talk about some of the reasons that the schedule works for you, and how if you really make an attempt to stick to that schedule, what happens if you go off your schedule? Do you notice the difference in what your stream is like, and that sort of thing? So Dice, you have a schedule, no Dice, that I have memorized, so clearly like you have a time where you're going to be on, but you do tend to do, like, even like today you had a special stream where you streamed off schedule. So can you talk about a little bit about kind of the benefits, why you felt like you wanted to have a schedule, and then what happens when you deviate from that at all?
There's the reason you kind of, the reason I guess I started a schedule was because it was kind of twofold. One, everyone says streaming consistently is the best potential thing that you can do for growth. Anyone you talk to will be like, set a schedule, be consistent. And it was a mix of that and just like work-life balance. It was for me, like, the schedule was a way to me, like, to actually start to control this thing. Because when I first started out streaming and started to kind of get the bug, I just wanted to be live all the time. Like, anytime I'm awake and not at work, I'm going to be streaming. And it slowly kind of took over, like, real life responsibilities. Like, my grass got like 3 feet high. I couldn't find my car. I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't getting regular sleep. So I kind of set the schedule more for my own sake than I think I did the channels. I decided, I'm going to set aside these hours, and I'm going to try to make these hours every time. And then if I have extra time, like today, to do a daytime stream, I went live at like 2:30 in the afternoon or something because I had the day off and it was snowing, so I wasn't going to work on the yard. I could kind of fit those in. And that fits into the idea of something I always like to say, which is under promise, over deliver.
Mhm.
Right. So I think going off schedule is not a bad thing if it means that you're streaming more. But in my experience, starting late kills my streams. Like starting late, my numbers get really bad. If I'm even a half hour or 45 minutes late, a lot of people miss the show. Canceling days I sometimes have to do, but will obviously, hurt your stream. When it comes to setting a schedule and how important it is, I think that's a different answer for every individual person that streams, right? I don't know the intricacies of everybody's real life here and their work responsibility. None of us are full-time streamers. So you got to strike a balance there with your work and family relationships, and setting a schedule will help you keep that organized more than anything. I would also like to add that setting a schedule is good for the people that already watch your stream. It does not guarantee growth just because you're always at the same time. It helps get return viewers who have already found you. If you can stream 12 hours a day every day, then that's the best possible way to get your name out there. But I started scheduling for myself. I needed to get this habit under control because it was becoming a problem more than anything.
No, I feel that, Dice, because like when I started streaming, it was similar. Like I would look over and be like, "Oh, we've been live for 13 hours." Like it was just like it just was always, and it was like it's different because I didn't have anybody like hanging out then. I was just streaming to stream kind of deal. But really, the reason that I asked this or wanted to talk about it more is that when people come to me and say, how do I do this? What should I do? I want to do this. I want it to be better. I want to take it seriously. My very first piece of advice is set a schedule and stick to it. And like it is beneficial, right? And like you said, Dice, it's like not so much about bringing new people in. It's about the viewers that like to watch your stream always know when you're going to be on. Like I just said to you, Dice, like I always know when you're going to be live. I know what your schedule. I know WaffleCone's schedule, kinda. I mean, kinda. You do switch it up a little bit on the weekends sometimes, WaffleCone, as far as time. But I know that Saturday afternoon, I can always turn in and watch the Waffle stream. Gamer Heroine, like when you're late, I am messaging you on the Discord, and I'm like, why are you not streaming? And like my coworker, who might still be in the chat here, Deadpool, is messaging GH on the Discord. Like, why is your stream not live?
I oversleep one too many times.
So like as a viewer, as a fan of all of your streams, like it's important for me to know when you're on. And so I think you really nailed it on the head there, Dice. And it's coming up with the schedule too. Like I wasn't taking days off until our good friend, all of our good friend Geeksay was like, Fish Soup, take days off. You can't stream 7 days a week. I streamed every day from the first time I streamed until late August, every day. It's like 90 streams in 3 months or something like that.
Jesus, man.
It's like, and so he was finally like, no, you need to take days off. And it's going to, I'm going to touch on another topic here shortly, but that was super good advice. And then I've set the schedule basically like last September and have stuck to it since then. And I think it's been really helpful for both people knowing when the stream is going to be live and also, like you said, Dice, for my own sanity. So
yeah.
And I really haven't streamed outside of that schedule very much. Like I'm trying to think of it. I've never done like a surprise Sunday stream or anything like that. Like I've never really deviated from it because in my mind, that's going to be like such an awful stream because nobody's going to know and nobody's going to, it's just like, it's probably all in my head. But at the same time, like if I'm on and I'm not expected to be on, I kind of feel like it's going to be not a great stream.
I mean, and sometimes it's not. Like my afternoon streams start off like nobody, and then as it gets closer to my normal stream time, they start to ramp up. But my whole mentality with it is, you know what I'm going to do on a day off if I don't have any responsibilities? I'm going to play video games. So I might as well, maybe you meet some cool people from Europe in the middle of the day. You know what I mean? You get cross time zone exposure. Certain game categories are going to be different during the day. Like I'm going to be sitting here anyway. I might as well try to do a stream. But in your position currently, I would not recommend that, given the achievements that you are nearing.
Certain personal achievements.
Yes.
Gamer Heroine, I showed up to your stream on a Saturday once, which is outside of your normal schedule, and you said, "Oh, thank God you're here, Fish." Thank God, I didn't even know that I was live.
Yeah,
I feel like you can acutely talk to this point.
I had one of
yeah,
those days last
that was
week. Yeah.
that was the last time I streamed outside of my schedule. I had like I for the entire week before I told everyone I was doing a Saturday morning stream. And like I did a Twitter post, I did a Discord post, I did all the normals, right? And I literally had 0 people for half an hour. Like, I pulled up my own stream. I'd never, like, felt like such a fish out of water again. It was like starting at the bottom again, not having a single person. It was very disheartening and discouraging. But I also wanted to bring up the fact you said, both of you, except for Waffle, he hasn't gotten a turn to talk. Um, that it's not just for your viewers, it's for you because I also know like I dropped the ball hard on just IRL things, like cooking, cleaning, just being a person. When I first started streaming, I just hit it so hard that it was like I need to have restrictions on when I start and when I stop. Otherwise, this is all I do. Very hard to regulate that. Like little things like even going and buying toothpaste and just like taking time to be outside. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's got pretty good graphics though.
The developers are kind of lazy though. There hasn't been much work. They still haven't fixed class balance. Some people are still way stronger than others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Needs balance.
Gosh. Okay.
And I find out that how strong you are, or particularly how wealthy your character is, just really depends on your spawn. It depends on where you start in the world. Hopefully,
Is
they'll
there any
fix it one day.
respawn? No, that's a whole nother
That I
big
know
thing.
of.
Depends on whether you own a falafel stand or a designer line of fragrances.
WaffleCon, you just recently kind of changed your schedule, although we did get a dank Wednesday waffle stream again last week.
Yeah, I mean, I've pretty much stuck to. I mean, I will say I pretty much stick to the same days. Like, I don't really go outside of the 3 days that I did for a long time. For the longest time, I did Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. And just having 3 kids, and then to be honest, there was just kind of a slow period there for Twitch, and so my Wednesday nights were kind of hit or miss, and so I kind of made a strategic decision to be like, hey, I could spend time with my family. As much as I love getting on with the chance of maybe hanging out with some people, I just noticed like, hey, I'm getting a lot more of my community hanging out on Saturday and Sunday, and sometimes hardly nothing at all going on Wednesday. So I thought, at least for a time, I can at least use this night to spend this time with my family. So and again, that's something that I can make that decision just because of my approach to streaming, which is, I'm not necessarily looking to grow this into necessarily like a partnership stream or anything like that. But I will say I still try and keep that same framework. So if I'm going to stream extra on top of Saturdays and Sundays, it's pretty much always going to be Wednesday night, because that's already kind of built into the framework of nights that I, have streamed historically. So I still see a great deal of benefit in it. For me, I think definitely I think that there has been growth potential there for me. So I agree with that. But I think for me, I identify more as far as just like maintaining a control over the situation, and I can identify, and I know the Weifel Cone can identify a lot with what No Dice was saying. Like when I very first started doing it, I was just streaming as much as I could. Like any free chance that I had, I was jumping on and streaming to 0.5 viewers. So but I think both of those, it is a twofold. I think even if you aren't necessarily super concerned about getting huge growth, because there's just so many different types of streamers out there, so many different ambitions and intentions, and so I think even if you aren't after that like super crazy growth and stuff, you're just like super just chill, having a good time, I still think it's probably a good idea to even do for those type of people, just because like Jake said, you have to be a human being. You have to be like an actual person that does like people things and bathes and
Yes.
and eats food, and the basic necessities to survive and as a human. So
I had
that
no
would be my
idea
take.
we all shared this experience. Like I haven't
But
really talked about
we
it too much.
got addicted at the very beginning and just
Yeah, I had no idea.
well,
It's
it's
funny.
like it's starting from zero. Like you almost have to, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it's
we all
true.
remember what it was like.
Ultimate exposure.
It's like, oh my god, we picked up 2 followers today. Oh,
Right.
in 12 hours, what a great stream! Yes. And there's still streams I do where it's like, yeah, man, 2 followers, because you know, but it's like when you're starting from the very bottom and you've got nobody, and none of us knew how to network, none of us knew each other, like we were just alone in this ocean. You kind of have to be out there, you know,
Yeah.
ridiculous hours. And I just like the I think there was a question in the Discord topic where it was like, is it okay to stream for like short amounts of time? Like I can't remember who it was now, and I can't minimize Discord because it'll mess up the show. But someone was concerned about like, well, if I've only got an hour and a half or 2 hours,
I think it was
to
Wookie
stream,
brought that up.
was it Wookie?
Yeah, I think so.
Should I even bother streaming at all? And the answer is yes. Even if it doesn't feel great. If that's your only time to stream that day, and it's, you know, it's your normal scheduled start time, but you have to do something at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hit the go live button. Do it anyway. What's the worst that can happen? You know what I mean?
I think there's obviously like probably a threshold where you would probably say, yeah, you probably don't want to go live if you've only got like 20 minutes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I would say anything
But-
like sub an hour and a half, probably
but, like,
hour
well,
and a half.
I
I've
think
always,
that's a cutoff too, Dice. 90 minutes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But some people the cutoff is like 3.5 hours, and I'm like, I have a job.
Is it
No,
different
no,
if
yeah, I
it's
agree with that.
IRL or I guess just chatting now? Like, does it depend on the type of stream?
Sure, I think so. I mean, I've done stupid little streams where I'm like, you know, walking my dogs and stuff, where I'm just like hanging out and I'm like, hey, if 4 people show up just to, you know, like while I'm at my parents or something like that. Like, I think, and again, that also, we always come back to what type of streamer are you, right? Like, if you are in the zone where you're trying to get to a partner streamer, you probably don't want to do a phone stream for 25 minutes randomly.
Just
like,
to mess
I
up
wouldn't
your
recommend
averages.
that.
Yeah.
But like for me, yeah. But I would say if you're sitting down at your computer, I would say 90 minutes is kind of the minimum. I've always kind of felt like, at least for me personally, like 2 hours is kind of that nice minimum sweet spot. But yeah, I think it really, as all of these questions probably come down to most of the time, it's like, what type of streamer are you? What are your life circumstances?
Yeah, find a way to like adapt everything that we're talking about that fits into your real life scenario.
Yeah.
Right.
How
Yeah,
long
for
was
sure.
the tree stream, Waffle Cone? I know. I think
tree
the stream
stream.
was only
think it
limited
was-
by the battery on your phone.
And it getting
Which-
dark
It
outside.
got dark
Yeah,
out. We
oh,
couldn't
wait,
see the
hold on.
trees anymore.
I
And
missed the
then
tree
I
stream.
came in and like was just like lounging in bed to finish off the stream. I was like, "Hey, what's up, guys? This is my headboard.
That was like one of my favorite streams.
It's
Just so you
rich
know.
mahogany."
It's like the tree stream is like legend in the Ladders Down community now. Like if you weren't at the
I
tree
missed
stream,
it. I've never seen it.
it was a good stream.
It's
I
out
mean,
of
it
the
was a
VODs
good
now at
stream.
this point. That was like
Yeah, it's not even in the
VODs
VODs anymore.
You
You
should
can
have
never catch
highlighted it.
It's the white. No Dice. It's your white whale.
Damn.
Yeah, no, so I forget who it was. I don't know if it was you, Fish, but somebody, it may have been like you or Mac or someone, or I don't know who it was, asked me what my favorite tree was. And then I continued to
It was
go.
Mac. It was definitely
I-
Big Mac.
I legitimately was like, oh, this is my favorite tree right over here. It's this one that I played it 2 years ago. And then
we
I
met
went
like
around
6 other trees.
and I was like, hey, let's go show you all my trees.
Oh man. Okay, so I want to get. We talked a little bit about like just being on, just stream, just get on and stream, and that kind of leads into this other. I would say, like the least full drama that happened on Twitch in the last couple of weeks, which is kind of a non-fight between popular variety streamer Lyric and stream coach Ashley Christ.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to start just what we can kind of just react to the tweet that Lyric sent out. And then I want to actually touch on another tweet that Ashley Christ had sent out that talks about some of the things that she has from her stream coaching has kind of touched on or found that have been working for people that she's working with. So Lyric tweeted out on November 18th. Or no, sorry, November 15th. If you need a coach for live streaming, I don't think your streaming is for you. You also can't teach luck. Can I ask you guys to react to that tweet?
Poor Waffle.
I will say that lyric in particular is has a history of kind of stirring the pot on Twitter. Slash, sometimes he gets like weird emotional weeks where he's like almost depressive and strange. And I don't watch the guy's stream. I don't know a lot about it. I think that tweet may be a little harshly worded. And I think the luck thing has validation. Like sometimes you got to get a little bit lucky in any endeavor. But what it more is for me is that stream coaching is a relatively new idea. This has only come up in the last couple of months, and I think it's potentially kind of predatory. So I understand people and Lyric included. I understand his ideology of that's not a real thing. Because if there's anything that you want to learn about streaming and you really, really want to learn the craft and figure out what the biggest people do, it's all online. Like, you can teach yourself how to stream. I don't think stream coaching would necessarily be, I don't know, but I've also been a teacher before, right? Like, I taught music for 10 years. Some people just learn differently. Maybe it would help people to have information presented to them by someone that is a professional sort of coach. But my biggest thing is I think the tweet was kind of harsh, and I think it was just to stir up some drama and some attention, because outrage culture is huge on Twitter. If you want to get big on Twitter, piss somebody off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm also very, very skeptical of so-called stream coaches, because do we have metrics on this? Like, how many streamers have you worked with as a stream coach that have since become partnered streamers?
That was the main argument. I think that
what's your
Twitter
resume? You know what I mean?
I think the main argument was that No Dice, like, show me the results. Show me your results.
Yeah.
What results?
Like, if I pay you $400 for a 6-hour day, can you guarantee that if I do every single thing you say to the T, that I'll be partnered in 3 months?
And the answer has got to be no.
It's got to be. Yeah. There's too much variation in this business.
So, one of our chatters here brings up a good point, which is, if we change the name from stream coach to stream consultant, does that make you feel better about this situation?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, GH.
Maybe.
Well, I think getting any sort of advice or further insight, like having someone step back and like look at your stream, see what you're doing, and like giving you advice on what you can improve upon is always going to be healthy. Like, especially if it comes from somebody who's at least got insight. Like, I think everyone in this admin group has at least that one person that they've gone to for a second opinion, or like some like just like helpful constructive criticism. And like just having a stream consultant, like if you don't have that person in your life that like you look up to and you respect their stream and is in like constant contact with you that you can ask, then like a stream consultant would be a good option. I'd say just make more stream friends and ask them, but I mean, some people are a little bit more in a different situation.
Yeah.
Like, there's a good line in chat here. I mean, Meteor Matt's saying, streaming is not easy. It requires a variety of skills. I don't mind the idea of a stream coach, but this isn't something that's casually being presented, Meteor. These people are charging hundreds of dollars for their time. Hundreds of dollars for their time.
Yeah, it's not people don't have to pay.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's not
if you want to pay for it, I don't see any problem with these people doing this. I mean, it's the same thing in business. Like, if you go and consult someone's business, like, you can give them all of the tips, you can give them the framework of what could help them be successful. But if they're trying to start a sales company and they aren't a people person, like they don't know how to talk to people and they'll never have that personality, they're going to crash and burn no matter how great the consultant is. And it's the same with streaming. It's like, if you've got a great personality, you've got good organizational skills, kind of already have that base level of being able to interact with people, it might be something that could benefit you. And at the end of the day, you're the one giving them money. It's like, if they try and come and take it from you, that's just theft. So it's like, no one's taking money from somebody. Now, if this is like minors or something, that's a completely different story. Like, if we've got some kid that's getting a hold of his dad's credit card or something, and he's paying $500 to this coach, now that's a problem. Yeah. But if you're an adult and you want to give somebody $400 to be a stream coach, well, that's your own fault if it doesn't work out, even if it is their
Mhm.
fault. But I also think the tweet, I don't know how genuine I really take anything on Twitch or on not on Twitch, on Twitter, to be honest with you. No. I mean, Twitch has its issues too, don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But as far as Twitter's concerned, it's like I have no doubt in my mind that it's like, oh hey, look, because I'm sure when it comes to Twitter, it's like for the most part, you know, all all press is good press. You know what I mean? So like they're stirring the pot, they're getting this exposure. I don't even know who this person is. I'm probably a total lame-o for not knowing who they are. But
You're better off.
I don't really
I
know how
only
genuine I find them in this situation. I think they're just trying to piss people off and get people to come to their Twitter and come to their Twitch, even if they're coming to like cuss them out and stuff. They're viewers. So
If you don't know Lyric, I think the one thing to really take note about him is he's one of the very few partner streamers without a webcam.
oh
So,
really?
Yep.
Wow, that's
Yep.
very interesting.
And he's not just a partnered streamer; he's a huge
Yeah.
streamer.
I mean, he's probably one of the biggest variety streamers on the platform.
Oh yeah, he's up
Mhm.
there with Dan's Game and Carnage and all those heavy hitters.
so he can do whatever
He's
he
got
wants.
big
just...
numbers, and he does it just with voice and charisma. And
See, I really
snark.
feel like when people that big do this stuff like this, I feel like they're just doing it to stay relevant. Like they want to make sure that they don't lose their relevancy. And if they keep getting in these situations, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure there's totally genuine people at the top. I don't know. I tend to get skeptical because I think most of the time when you get to that level, unfortunately for a vast majority of people, I think they can allow it to corrupt their intentions and stuff like that. But I'm a very skeptical person when it comes to things like that. That's why I love Ladders Down, because it's a really awesome, like tight knit community of good people that aren't necessarily,
Stirring the pot.
yeah, we're all just helping each other out. So I don't know. When I see stuff like that, I'm like, how constructive is this? Like, is he actually trying to help anybody out here? Like, I don't feel like he's actually trying to help anybody.
Well, like full disclosure, I like Ashney. I think that she's a very genuine person.
Mhm.
I follow her stream. I've watched her stream before. I've watched her YouTube videos a lot too. I think she has some actually pretty good advice. I don't. I can't name another person who's stream coaching right now. I'm sure that there are people, but this tweet definitely felt like aimed at her. Like he didn't at her.
Oh, it was totally because that's the only. It got huge
her.
exposure.
Right.
Yeah.
So I feel I see what you're saying, Waffle Cone. I think actually, Waffle, you nailed it on the head as far as like this kind of thing exists in every other business. Athletes hire trainers and consultants, businesses
managers
hire them, they hire managers. If it's just a vocabulary thing, if it's just we're calling it a stream coach, and if it's just like a semantics thing, I really don't. I think it could help. I think it could help. Like you said, Waffle, like if you got to have like you got to have some baseline of like a personality that people are going to want to like hang out and watch as a streamer. Like you have to have something innate. I think there's some stuff about streaming that you can't teach, just stuff like that. But certainly like there's the minutia of streaming and things you don't even think about that somebody from the outside, like you said, GH, could come in and actually like, hey, if you did this slightly differently, then you could this, and your personal brand and all that stuff. It's like stuff that maybe a lot of people didn't really start thinking about when they stream, but that you start thinking about more and more, like Dice's Spices, for instance. But I mean, just like stuff like that, stuff you're not thinking about your stream that somebody from the outside can consult you on. I see absolutely no problem with that. And I thought it was just like you said, Waffle. I think it was just a lot of stirring up drama for no reason. And it was just I even said something like that in the Ladders Down and actually got a little snippy, and I kind of stepped back from the conversation because
well, I think
this is just needless drama.
I mean, I think it's there's kind of a mixed bag here between different opinions. I'm a skeptic on both sides. I'm with Wafflecone on that one. I don't know if it was meant to be as vindictive as it came off. It was definitely targeted at Ashley,
right?
Because that's the first tweet I've seen about stream coaching gain hundreds of thousands of hits. It was definitely aimed at her. I don't know if it's quite as vindictive. I think he's just skeptical. And when you're that big on this platform, you're expected to have an opinion on things. Like next thing you knew, everybody was commenting on the
Chiming in.
idea of stream coaches. And while I think it could be beneficial, and I don't really care how people spend their money, I just, like I said earlier, I worry it could become predatory because there's a lot
Oh,
of really,
for sure.
really
Mhm.
exhausted, desperate, like trying to stay motivated and do the best they can. There's a lot of people on this platform that are struggling that I think if you get the right person in their ear and say, hey, for $400, I could, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like that, I just worry that it could become a situation where
Sure.
people are taken advantage of.
Well,
Yeah.
and to kind of feed off of what some other stuff that that Fish was saying, I guess one thing that I take issue with as far as like if this person is truly like one of the top dogs on Twitch, right? Do they not want Twitch to be considered like a legitimate, almost like business, like venture? You understand what I mean?
Some of them don't. There's a
Well,
lot of really large
I'm
streamers
sorry,
who
you
are
can't
upset
have the best of both worlds.
Exactly.
You can't say, "Hey, I'm getting tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I don't want this to be like a business or anything." Oh, okay. Well, you're taking people's money hand over foot, so it is a business, and get over it.
Everyone that got upset when Ninja brought in Drake, Twitch is going mainstream. No,
Right.
that's a good thing. That's
Yeah,
a,
it is a
that's a
good thing.
good thing.
And I'm not even saying that like I'm starting this as a business for myself, but I know people that want this to be their job, and I that's awesome. Like this is going to be, they want this to be their small business. So if you're going to subject it to that, like you're going to have to subject it to literally the rest of the world's like approach when it comes to business. And unfortunately, again, in like the business world, there are predatory people in the business world that are saying that they're going to like, I'm going to come help out your business. We can do this, this, and this to streamline this, this, and this. And so it's like, this is either just a chill place where we all get together and play video games and that's it. And literally nothing else happens. Or you're like,
Or it becomes
Twitch,
a household name.
or Twitch is making a ton of money, and so is a bunch of other people that are streaming for them, and it's a business. And unfortunately, there might be some viewers and some chill streamers that get caught up in kind of the whirlpool of the situation. But I don't know. I think it's funny that I guess for me, I feel like this person that's tweeting this is kind of talking out of both sides of their mouth, because it's like, dude, you've made a business out of this medium, and now you're like basically dissing other people who are trying to make a business out of this medium. So I don't know. I think it's full of crap for me. That's a big old thumbs down for me.
Tell me how you really feel.
Well, so let me talk about Ashley had sent out a tweet like several days before, and it might have actually spurned this tweet from Lyric originally, because her other tweet kind of did go viral, which is she actually talked about some of the things that were working for some of the people that she was working with as a stream coach. So the first is this is really surprising to me, decreasing to 3 streams a week, maximum 4. Scarcity encourages people to show up. I can see that I'm not going to change my 5-day a week schedule anytime soon, probably, but that makes sense to me.
Yeah, same.
It makes sense to me that less is more in that way. I think that if I was streaming for 8 hours a day for 5 days a week, that going down to 4 would make more sense. But the fact that I'm only on for like 4 hours on those nights is not like some outrageous amount of stream, right? It's just like you can kind of block out 4 hours or just 2 hours or whatever you want to spend on the stream.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that? Maximum 3, decreasing to 3 streams a week, maximum 4.
I'd say maximum 5. Like going over 5, things get really stretched because you're still gonna have, like, regardless if you want to, things you have to go out and do. You're still have to be a person. You still have to be a person,
being a human
guys.
being.
You have to be a person.
Yeah.
So more than 5 days a week is really hard unless you're only streaming for like maybe an hour and a half. I think at least a lot of us here go for at least 5, like roughly, give or take. And so like 5 times 5, 25, like that's like full part-time job. And if you're not doing it full time, that makes sense. I think scarcity, like that's even been making me kind of think things, but I usually have a little bit shorter streams as well. So
you're telling me not to do a 48-hour stream? Is that what you're telling me?
I
No.
would pay so much money for that to happen.
No. I've seen someone do a 48-hour stream. It didn't end well.
Well, it was technically like a 47-hour stream because he was full
Couple of cat
asleep for
naps.
like a full hour of that.
I'm just gonna take a 15-minute nap, put my head down here.
I believe there's like a good there's like a nice clip of Hippofartimus just straight up sleeping on his during his 24-hour stream. Pretty sure that went on for quite a long time.
Weak.
Not to call out
Oh
our buddy Hippo.
no.
Oh man. Well, I'm not gonna say who this was, but I can't think of a better idea than like, hey, I just hit the 40-hour mark. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play Foxhole. Really? Okay, good idea. Let's play Minesweeper instead and see how long that lasts.
Her second point in this tweet is kind of what we just talked about, actually, which is starting at the same time each stream, make it easier for people to memorize your schedule, and they make you a habit. And I think we touched on that pretty well.
Yeah.
Short starting soon screens, making them wait 10 plus minutes is a negative brand interaction.
Yeah.
My starting soon screen is exactly 10 minutes long.
I wouldn't go longer than that.
I wouldn't. It used to be 15 minutes. One of our mutual friends used to have like a 30-minute starting soon screen, which I complained about nonstop.
Jeez.
I think that makes sense.
Crazy.
Yeah. We could talk about that off.
Did they
podcast,
provide like
off
popcorn and candy or
I
something?
think
Like, it
I think
was-
I know who that
yeah,
was.
Gamer Heroin knows who it is.
Yeah.
But that makes sense to me. Not having, you want like a bit of a waiting room, I think, for people for there when you
A
start.
buffer.
Yeah, but I think 10 plus, that makes a lot of sense.
No dice, you don't have
Decreasing
a.
games- Oh, I'm sorry.
oh,
Go ahead,
sorry.
GH.
No dice, you don't have a countdown, do you? Right?
Nope.
Yeah, you just wait. You base it off the people in your
Not
thing.
necessarily. It usually I have a limit, right? Mine's anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. If I roll one of our intro montages, which I don't always do if there's not a lot of people showing up, or if people want to see the new montage or something. It's anywhere from 10 to 15. Normally I just play a couple of songs, and I'll speak to this. The drawback I see from long intro screens is someone in the category that you're in comes to check you out and then leaves because it's an intro screen. That's the only downside that
I've
see
seen
there.
that even in 10 minutes, even
Yeah,
in a 10-minute
That happens to
starting
me all
screen.
the But here's my thing on that. My intro screen, my pre-show like thing, that's for me. That's for
Right.
me. Because most of the time I just came home from a 12-hour shift and like saw my wife for 45 minutes and starved down dinner and then ran to my computer to try to start on time. So that 10 minutes where it's like heavy metal or hip hop or some whatever I happen to be playing that night, that's for me to focus in and go, okay, time to do a stream. I'm really not concerned with that being a negative brand impact because the people that watch my stream anyway know that I'm gonna stream.
Mhm.
If you're someone who watches my show regularly from 8 to 11 on a weekday, I really don't think they care that there's 10 minutes of music while we get ready to start the show. And normally that whole time I'm just kind of zoning in. If someone says hi in chat, I'll talk to them. That's my time to interact. Like how you, Fish, you'll start your stream and just chatting sometimes, hang out, welcome everybody, then you'll get to the gameplay. That's kind of my time to do that kind of thing is during the pre-show. I'm never just away, right? I'm always like behind the keyboard, checking settings, looking at stuff, making sure everything works, and then talking to people in chat before I start the show. So that's such a small, I mean, if we're talking like 4 and 5 hour streams, that doesn't seem like that big of a deal to me, but
Yeah, I think these are just like, it's just little stuff, right? This number 4 is really interesting. Decreasing game time, increasing just chatting time. People there for connection, and the game is distracting you. This is the only point in here that I really kind of disagree with.
That's different depending on the flavor of your channel.
Totally different depending on the streamer. Yep. Absolutely no dice. Like you said, man, I start my stream a lot of times and we'll just sit and chat. And sometimes Book Fairy will be like, all right, go do something now because you're just like sitting and talking with people. But
there's a balance.
Yeah, there is a balance. And ultimately, I think that people are there to, like my content is not just chatting, right? If your content is more about that, then yeah, spend more time just chatting, less time gaming. But
like I'll give it, and a lot of, once your chat gets too busy, once you're a big streamer, then you're not really there. People don't watch Ninja to talk with Ninja.
Right.
I'll give you a small example of someone who doesn't interact with chat, but I watch them all the time right here in Ladders Down, an up and coming streamer like ourselves. But you know who I watch for gameplay in Ladders Down? Boom, Byron, because he's so damn good at Rocket League, it blows my mind. And I could care less if he said anything to me personally. Like in the chat, like if I show up and I'm like, hey, and if he was like, fuck off, no dice, I'd be like, okay. And then I'd watch him hit like ceiling reset shots off of other players into the goal. Like it depends on how good you are at the game you play and if you can make your gameplay entertaining. That's you know, for people like me who I'm not very good at games, then I try to do a nice mix of both. But that varies. That varies, I think, depending on the channel.
But I think that's also really, really tough advice, even if it's good advice. Like, I mean, I even have days where it's like, I may not have a ton of people there. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Just set off the game, be like, all right, guys, who's going to show up? Let's chat. Let's have some talking time. And then there's just nobody there. I'm like, I'm just going to talk.
Let me be honest, Wafflecone. I think at this point is...
If you started doing curls...
I think this works more for you, Waffle, than anything else, than anybody else here. I think that people are 100% there to hang out with you, Wafflecone.
No, listen. No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, you know, when they're there to hang out for sure. But I'm just saying, like, if you've got someone that has like some kind of up and down, where there's not there, some days there'll be like 30 people there chatting, and then some days there's like 2 people kind of lurk chatting, and it's like, what am I gonna do? Stop playing the game and just doing some chatting and calling out these lurkers? Like,
well, it's about knowing when. It's about knowing when to do it.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, just about knowing when.
I think that's a good point. I think if you're someone that can hit like I would say if you can average kind of like a 20 viewer plus, then maybe you want to start considering that. I think if you kind of hold under that threshold a little bit more, like pick your battles, because like, not even because it's going to hurt anything. Like, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. The one thing it could hurt though is your confidence. And I feel like with streaming, like, confidence is a really big deal. And if you have a stream where you're like, hey, I'm going to make a deliberate effort to try and improve my stream by cutting down my gameplay today by half an hour and just chatting and hanging out for half an hour, and then it crashes and burns, like that can kill somebody's confidence and self-esteem when it comes to streaming. And there's nothing more fragile sometimes when it comes to someone's success, to being able to be, you know, enjoy streaming and have a good stream and keep doing it than having a hit to the confidence like that. And I think we all can probably sympathize with that. So I think you got to pick your battles and know when you're that streamer that should take that change.
I mean, I had a night like that a couple weeks ago with Minion Masters.
Oh yeah,
GH
Dice,
was there.
That was really good. Yeah, that was
really
good for
I
you
was
too.
playing Minion Masters, and by the end of the stream, I hated Minion Masters so much.
And you haven't played it since?
I was like, I'm gonna go play Stardew Valley, and then to calm me down and play some Stardew Valley. But then chat got so active when I stopped playing Minion Masters. I had 25 or 30 people, and everyone was just there. Everyone was talking and everyone was vibing. I just turned off the game. And I went to just chatting for like an hour and a half. And I was just
talking about music,
drinking beers, sharing music, and
taking bets.
Yeah, and that was one of the best streams I've had this month.
Yeah, so it really is. It's less about like, all right, well, this is our just chatting time, rather than like, my chat right now is just in a mood to hang out. So let's just hang out. And I know, and you can see that. You can see when that happens. Yeah. That's a really interesting point. Thank you guys. That was really interesting to me personally. Number 5, she says, build your brand on multiple platforms. YouTube and podcasts are huge right now. Wow, we should
start a podcast.
We should start a
podcast.
How do we shout out our YouTube?
There's a YouTube banner below if you'd like to go click on that, or you could probably type !YouTube and hope that I put that in.
And we're still
like, comment, and subscribe.
We're still working on turning this into an actual podcast,
so that you can download it and watch it.
It is not fallen off the radar, you guys. We're just working on the hosting right now, figuring out how to host it. I think that makes perfect sense. Starting a movement, not a stream. Try to impact the community in a bigger way. I wish that we had something to announce. All the admins know what I'm talking about, but unfortunately, I don't yet. But please stay tuned. Actually, when is our next show? Our next show is Christmas on Day. December 11th. And before then, I promise you before then on the Discord that we will have something to announce in this realm.
This is
So
an
let's-
announcement of an announcement.
of the announcement.
be
We will talk about
announced.
this sometime in the next few weeks. So we're just
FYI.
first mover advantage has always worked. Bring a new kind of content to the platform. This is something I think about a lot, and this is something I like.
That's so hard.
In real life, I think it's maybe like not a new something that change the words new kind of content and just make it into something that somebody hasn't seen before. Is that fair? Like
It's still harder.
it's hard. It's hard. It's not easy. But like this is something I think about a lot. Just in real life, I love things that are novel. I love the new gadget or whatever. Like I buy all that shit just to try it out. Just the cool new thing. I love the cool new thing. And so like recently we added this eye tracker to my stream.
Yeah.
People probably hate it. I don't know. Everybody, like literally 90% of people are probably turning it off as soon as they get into the stream, which is fine. That's honestly was a selling point to me.
I can turn it off?
Yeah.
I hate that shit. I can turn it
Turn
off?
it off.
Oh,
Turn it off.
man. Oh, that's good.
That was one of the selling points of
It
this,
covers
though,
up all your minion masters, man. It covers them
but you
up.
can change the reticle.
You
It
can.
could be a different color and everything. There's a whole menu for it.
I
You
didn't
can make it
realize.
just a
I thought
dot
it.
if
I
you
thought it
want.
was your side. I thought it was client side.
No. It's actually an extension. So
Wow.
it was the selling point to me, No Dice, that somebody could shut it off if they hated it. That's literally the reason I bought it. I went to the guys at TwitchCon and I was like, the first question I asked him was like, if my people hate this, can they just shut it off? And the guy was like, 100%. You just click, and he showed me and they could shut it off. And I was like,
Yeah.
sold.
It's
I'll
really
do
easy
that.
to shut it off.
I like it in
Um,
things like RTS games, like StarCraft players.
Yeah.
I like eye trackers, but for
I think
minion
it's cool in
masters-
battle royales as well.
Yeah, see where they're checking.
Not for me so much because I'm not like a top level player, but I would love to see where like, Dr. Disrespect, where's he looking right now? Where's he seeing this? How does he see that? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm always thinking about that new kind of stuff. And, I think that's a really important point. I think that's a really good one of this. And the last one, using a question of the day. Somebody in chat uses a question of the day. His name is Meteor Matt.
To spur
Using question of the day
conversation.
to generate more engagement in chat. I think this is good. And
Yeah.
I kind of do this, I think, informally, but have you guys ever thought about, is there like a question that gets stuck on your community that like you just ask everybody that comes in to try to get
Is
the
it a
debate over
sandwich?
with?
Is it a fucking sandwich?
I started in
Is
the
a
morning.
is a question of the day a sandwich?
Is it-
I started in the morning on Gamer Heroine's channel asking everybody this, and by nighttime, people had been whipped into a frenzy. It was the topic.
I
of
know.
discussion.
I was getting pissed that night. I was like,
4+ hours we talked about this. It's like
What
an
is-
all day thing.
I might start trying that.
I think question of the day is great, and Meteor Matt does it
Mm-hmm.
really well. He has a command for it. There's a new question
Yeah.
every day. He reminds people who come into the stream like, "Oh, hey, Fish, we answer our question of the day," and it's always like something like really, it's silly or engaging in some way. And I think it's really, really good.
Yeah, upon your advice, I believe it was, I've been trying to make my titles more interesting in the last few days. I've been putting a question in there. A lot of people just have been coming in, as you predicted, just to say something about my title, and I didn't expect that to be a thing.
Yeah,
I like to make pop culture references in my.
Oh,
yeah, and then people come in like, "I know that reference. We're friends now."
Did we just make or become best friends? How's that
Yep.
going? What's the one?
Step Brothers. Did we just become
Yeah,
best friends?
'cause
Yep.
Danny Campa has it as this like alert, and it always cracks me up.
Yep. Favorite dinosaur? Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh no, wait, it's Velociraptor. I messed up the quote.
Stegosaurus.
Velociraptor.
God damn it, No Dice.
Damn it.
Come on, you had one job.
And just to round this out, the last topic is something that we have talked about pretty extensively, so we don't really need to get into it. But she says watching your view count, but using it as a positive encouragement and insight. And if it detracts from that in any way, shut it off. And we have, when we started this podcast, I was a viewer count watcher, like literally checking it all the time. It was on my chat bot. It was on another screen. Like I was looking at the number constantly. And since then I have stopped doing that. I even said to Wafflecone's like, Wafflecone messaged me. He's like, it's like, "Oh, you're doing great tonight." And he'll just be like, just DM me like, "Hey, you have 70 viewers or whatever right now." And I'm like, I even said to him when I'm like, "I turned off the number, Wafflecone. Like, I'm only knowing the number right now because you told me, because I turned it off because it was detracting me. I was streaming differently depending on how many people were in the stream, and that is so bad. It is so bad, and it was a mistake that I recognized, and then it was hard. It's hard. It's still hard. Sometimes I peak. Sometimes I peak halfway through. Sometimes I peak. But I definitely shut it off, and it's not a constant like, oh, all the time anymore.
No,
So,
but I think peaking is okay, and I don't know if for you it's the for you it's probably a little different, obviously, Fish. But like I've stopped sometime over the last couple of months because I started getting really negative about it,
Mhm.
and so I just hit it completely, and I just noticed I'm just having more fun now because it's like
you
for
can
me
tell,
it's like
Waffle. I can tell.
well, I could just think like, okay, I may have 20 lurkers, or it may just be the 5 people here talking, hanging out, but I don't know. And then sometimes what I'll do is like towards the end of the stream when I'm going to host, I'll be like, I'll look how many viewers I'll have, and some days it'll be like 16, and some days it'll be like 4, and I'll be like, who cares? This was an awesome stream. I had a good time. And so I'm like, the fact that I could have been staring at that number the whole stream, and it either could have made or broke that stream is just crappy. The fact that I reached the end of a stream and said, hey, this was a great stream. I had a great time. I hope everyone that was here had a great time, and I think they did. And the fact that like I look at that number and I have a realization like, oh yeah, this would have ruined my stream today for me, and I would have been off my game and just been a turd if I would have been looking at that number. So I'm like, it for me, even on the days where it's like it maybe isn't by some people's standards a good number, like looking at that number gave me a affirmation that it's good that I shut it off, because I proved to myself, oh, I had a fantastic stream today, and I only had four or five viewers when I went to host somebody. It's like, who cares? Now again, I know different people have different expectations and ambitions, but I think for the most part, I recommend just about anybody turning it off, honestly.
If you're just starting,
Yeah.
or if you're still in the, I mean,
even man,
it ain't worth the stress.
yeah,
It
I
ain't
would
worth
just.
the stress, because
It's just me
there's
personally.
always
I would
gonna be
recommend
slower
turning it off.
nights.
I can't handle the curiosity. It drives me insane. I've
Do
turned it off.
you look at it, GH?
I have to have it on because like I turned it off for a week and I'm like, I want to know. I want to know.
That's awesome.
I think it's cool to have like that friend though. Like Wafflecone will literally, I'll be like, oh, I wish that we've had a lot of viewers, but I wish it was more consistent across the whole stream rather than some great peak in the center or whatever. And so then 15 minutes in, Waffle's like, yeah, about that consistency. I'm like, what was it good or bad? Like, what's going on? I'll do the same thing for GH though. I'll be like, hey GH, you're top of the category right now. Like, you're the number one.
Yeah, I do the
streamer
same
on
thing for
Twitch
you
right
too.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Gamer Heroin lets me know. So it's just like, instead of maybe the number, just like even having that friend who's like, hey, you're having a
The
great
secret
stream
whisper
right
system.
Turn off the number, GH.
I should.
Free yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly,
It's just
Dice. Exactly.
the curiosity just kills me. Like,
No, I get that. I get that. EPB does offer a good point. I still, for me personally, I turn it off, but I think you can, if you can be the type of person that can be constructive with it, then I think he's right. But you can also do that, like, as long as you don't care about making changes and making adjustments midstream. You could look at those numbers, after the stream. You can look at your entire stream breakdown after the stream. So that's what I do, I guess, to kind of look at like, oh, maybe this isn't a great idea. But I still think that is a good point, that if you are trying to adjust stuff during the stream, then maybe. But again, this is totally me, but I think for just about anybody under, honestly, even like under 100 viewers, I would just recommend turning it off. I think it will absolutely, but again, I think it just depends on your personality too. So I shouldn't push that on other people, but I think it would absolutely change your stream for the better if you just turn it off. But I know, but then GH, you say that you can't do it. So I get that. I think it would probably drive you crazier if it was off. So I think that's where you see
can I get some viewer
difference.
Can I get some numbers?
Yeah, she's like,
some numbers.
Gotta need those codes.
Gotta need codes. You gotta need codes, man.
So
Watching wins.
I
do disagree with you.
I'm sorry, G.
Sorry. I disagree with you, Waffle, on one point. It being a limit of viewers. Like, I feel like you mentally set yourself a status of what you expect for viewership. Like, if you know you're average and you're seeing below average, like, it's still a mental detriment to see it lower than you're expecting. So even if you have like 1,000 viewers on average and you see it 800,
oh, you're saying as far as like who I'm telling to shut it off.
Yeah.
Well, you had
Oh,
said
well-
like,
Well,
well, if you're under 100,
no,
shut it off.
I guess let me put it this way: if somebody's at 1,000 viewers and they drop to 700, I don't know if I really feel bad for them. So, I'm talking to the plebs more than anything. To us peasants, you know, I gotta stick with the people down where I'm at, I guess.
So
Yeah, get
that
out the
was
pitchforks.
from stream coach Ashney Christ, ASHNI Christ, at Ashney Christ on Twitter and here on Twitch. She streams, I think like she streams 3 days a week, so she's following her own advice there. We just kind of staying on Twitter, and we've talked a little bit about social media, but we had a question come up, and I think one of our Ladders Down members as well was talking about posting Twitter, specifically go live notifications. And this is something that I used to do very frequently, and now something that I do very infrequently because I started to see my Twitter feed fill up with tweets that I was just outright ignoring from people with their just live on Twitch, live now with blah 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 blah, and then their Twitch link. And I think that, like, I from time to time, I think that's perfectly fine, especially when something like different and interesting is happening. Like, I'm going to be running a marbles tournament. I will certainly tweet out about that. Like, that's going to be, you know, really hype. It's going to be a really cool stream, and I'm excited about that. But, like, you know, just, I mean, not to say that, like, oh, it's just my shitty old Tuesday stream, but, like, I don't think there's a reason for me to tweet live. That's not going to bring in anybody new, first of all. It's not going to bring in a single new person. If you're going to be there, you're already going to be there because you know this, because we talked about, you know, the schedule. But, like, so, like the No Dice, do you have a Stream Deck?
I am getting one for Christmas.
Oh,
I don't
what a
have one right now,
surprise.
though. Hey, they
Oh,
asked. They asked what I wanted, and I said this thing.
Stream Deck. Hey, Gamer Heroine, do you have a Stream Deck?
As of 2 days ago.
Well, they have a way to set up, like, you press a button on your Stream Deck and it posts to your Twitter that you're live. And I think there could be nothing more useless than that button. I just think that does nothing for you. Do you guys have any insights?
Completely
about that?
agree.
It's just not, it's just not the right way to use Twitter. Like, that's what Discord's for.
And let's be honest, Discord is just the same. Like, I guess it's a little different if it's your channel, right? Like, I feel like if people really care about seeing you go live and they see like you throw I think that's what you meant, right?
Yeah.
But like this is exactly the same, and as much as I love having it because I hope people utilize it, but as somebody who has a million different notifications on my computer and my phone every day, I can tell you the one thing that I ignore almost immediately is the 27 different Discords that I'm on and their promotional channels. Like, I'm sorry, and some people might say you're a total jerk, like you shouldn't be in Ladders Down and ignore those things. I'm sorry. I'm in like 30 Discords, and every single one of them has a community promotion channel, including my own, because if, like I said, if there's someone out there that utilizes that, that's awesome, and I'm so happy that I can offer another avenue for people to get exposure to my community. But just me personally, as soon as I see that, it's just like it's in one ear and out the other. Like, I don't even acknowledge it. And so I think Twitter is probably worse for me, because it's like, at least in Discord you can kind of compartmentalize things, right? It's like if I see something in your general Discord fish, it's like different than seeing it in your community promotional channel. Sure. Like it might catch my attention differently. But with Twitter, there's no like compartments as far as like what goes where. It's like when my feed is just full of going live, I'm like, Twitter, I don't want to see this anymore. So I think that's a place to like interact and be more engaging. It's not just like, hey, I'm live, you know, press that button every day.
I start to mentally filter out, like, if I see like someone only post that, then I'd stop looking at what they post.
Yep.
My favorite are the going live ones with 17 lurk for lurk community hashtags
oh,
right underneath it, where it's like lurk. Live now, hashtags for the other 160 characters.
Oh, good night.
Yeah, that was just something that came up on the After Dark topics list, and I wanted to say something about it because really, like, if your only interaction with Twitter is I'm now live on Twitch, you're not doing Twitter correctly. I think like Twitter should be. It's a good area to have conversations about the platform. Sure, yeah,
with other like people and meet new people on the platform. I'm interested in people's Twitter that show me them. Take a picture of the funny thing that you saw at the store, and you know I will comment on that 100 times
it's more likely that I'm going to comment on that than your go live status, right? Like,
Yep.
like
Mhm.
Gamer Heroin said, it just is completely filtered out, like
Yep.
completely filtered.
I'm trying to start using Instagram for that purpose.
Yeah.
I've been
So that leads
experimenting
into something
in
else
the
we talked about.
Instagram for that kind of thing,
This-
and then I
this
keep
was
Twitter
a-
business related.
That was a Book Fairies question, which is how are you utilizing Instagram, which is not a platform that I'm on. So sell me, No Dice.
For one, it's a pretty fucking cool social media app. Like, it's just fun to, you can follow literally anybody on there. It's Twitter but with pictures, right? So you get a lot less like threads from people you've never heard of,
Yep.
and it's political and it's angry and it's just all that stuff on Twitter that's kind of like Facebook toxic. You don't get any of that on Instagram because it's a picture with a bunch of hashtags and that's it.
Yep.
I don't use the live functionality as much as I should, but when you're talking about, I want to see this cool thing that you saw at the store, that's the kind of stuff I've started to try to gear towards Instagram, because there's a bunch of people on Instagram. Getting Instagram followers, way easier than
Yeah,
getting
you were
Twitter
saying that.
followers.
Yeah.
Way easier. I follow hundreds and hundreds of things that I would have never even thought of. Everything from beard products to members of bands that I listen to. It's a really easy way to just engage random people that may have no idea what Twitch is. And so I've kind of geared all my personal, like, hey, you want to know more about the day-to-day life of No Dice? Then you can follow me on Instagram. I need to post to it more. I'm kind of getting better at it. And then I've sort of re-geared Twitter away from that and made that an opportunity to seek out other streamers that I might not have heard of who have good discussion points on current events in the platform, or an opinion on a new game, things like that. So I've kind of re-geared them. You should at least give Instagram a try. It's pretty cool and it's pretty convenient for what it is. I don't have any other selling points other than I've turned into that girl with her pumpkin spice latte. Like,
I think I
Are
like
you
And-
Instagram more than
I am.
Snapchat.
And it's a better version of Snapchat is what
Yeah,
it is. It's a
that's
better
exactly.
version of Snapchat, and it's not frowned upon on Instagram to use as many hashtags as you possibly can. So it's I've got like 80.
I've heard 4.
I've
4
got-
is like classy.
You can do, it doesn't matter. More
You can
exposure
use as
gets
many
you
as
more
you want,
followers.
but-
Like I've got about 80 Instagram followers and I've only posted like 14 or 15 times. But every single time, like with an 80 follower Instagram account, I get hundreds of views. Just because of the hashtags. Because it's kind of addicting. You can just open it up and you just start scrolling and you're like, get all this cool shit.
Like, and it doesn't go away after you've seen it.
It doesn't. There's so much cool stuff.
You don't have to screenshot it real quick.
Are you in Waffle Cone?
What?
Have you bought in? Are you in?
No.
It's pretty cool, man.
What if you just took a picture of your beard every day?
I post to Twitter like once every 4 months. I'm rushing out to get Instagram right now.
Waffle posted to Twitter. He's like, "Hey guys, I'm live. Hashtag support small streamers."
Hashtag Twitchy Tweety bots. Twitchy retweet bots. I fell into a trap early on in Instagram of just following sexy cosplayers. I had to back off of that real quick because I started getting messages and flooded bot accounts, and all these people were just in my face. I was like, you can look at me, GH, but I got a thing for Jessica Negri. Mrs. No Dice knows about it. It's fine.
Even though Jessica Negri is.
You should.
No, I think it just depends on who you are, though, too. Like for me, honestly, and this is not a conviction on anybody for or against, but like I just
GH is so disappointed in me.
if I got an Instagram, that would be like counter to like who I am, just like foundationally. It's like Twitter was enough. Like, and Fish, I think you talked me into it. You're like, dude, you gotta be on Twitter. You gotta be on Twitter.
I tried to sell him on the like. Sometimes you can win stuff in a giveaway.
Yeah, and I was like, and then I literally did not enter a single. but I was like, yeah, all right. So I mean, I feel like for me, I was like, okay, that's like. Other than YouTube, and I really probably shouldn't even mention YouTube because that's pretty much not even a factor. But like only thing I have outside of Twitch is Twitter. So I'm like, okay, I can at least understand having a Twitter, but that's just not who I am doing like all the social media and stuff. And some might say, oh, well, you could actually get like legitimate, like cool people come to your channel. And I think that's totally right. And I don't think that anyone's wrong when they say that. I think it's just not who I am, being like super saturated into like all the different forms of social media. If somebody is on Twitch and they want to find Waffle Cone, I'll do everything I can to get them there. But I don't know if I'm sold on all the other different social medias. I don't think they're bad. They're just not for me.
Waffle's version of
That's fair.
Instagram is him carving his name into a tree in a forest. So, Waffle was here.
Arrow.
If you don't see this tree, then you'll never know I exist.
We've got free falafel on Wednesdays.
Yeah.
No, that's illegal. Illegal graffiti.
It's unlawful.
Guys, we have come to we pretty much touched on all the topics we talked about in After Dark. Again, if you're not on the Discord, and please give us some ideas for stuff you want us to talk about, because your topics are what is making this show. So head over to the Ladders Down Discord, into the After Dark topics section, and ask us your burning questions, and we will answer them the best we can. But now has come my very favorite part of the show. And I think No Dice's very favorite part of the show.
Because he keeps winning.
Because No Dice is 2 for 2, undefeated right now. Oh no! Well, oh no!
This is my boycott.
Kentucky internet strikes again. It's time for the game that I've devised for our 3 other Ladders Down admins. And guys, this week's game is called You Streamed It. This week's game is called You Streamed It. I'm going to ask you each 3 questions about games that you have streamed here on twitch.tv.
Oh, shit.
We're going to start with our reigning champion. If there's a tie, by the way, I have no tiebreaker. You guys are going to have to rock, paper, scissors or something.
Okay.
Okay, I'm good. We're good with that. No Dice, we're going to start with you.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yep.
No Dice, you streamed it. Yasuhiro Wada, the creator of this game, says that he enjoys Stardew Valley since he thinks it captures the spirit of his old games. So again, Stardew is the game that you streamed,
Okay.
not necessarily the answer.
And
to
he's
this
the
question.
creator of the other series known as Harvest Moon.
Yes, he is. No Dice,
That was
congratulations. That is 1 point for you. Let's
Rigged.
move over to our
Rigged.
second place contestant last week, who lost by just a nose. Lost by an obscure South Korean MMO or something.
Lost Ark, baby. It's awesome. It's a good game.
Gamer Heroine, name 3 of the first 4 fully designed and fleshed out Overwatch characters.
Man, this is an exclamation of rigged.
Oh god. Probably 76. Lucio, Reinhardt.
Is that your answer? You named 3. You named 3.
Okay.
Is that your
That's my
final
answer.
answer?
Yes. I was trying to think of a
It's
fourth.
amazing to me that you got 0 correct.
Can I offer my answer?
I'll tell you what. We're gonna
don't
give our
know.
last place last week. I'm gonna give you a bonus point here, Waffle Cone, if you can correctly name this question. Since you 2 have streamed Overwatch, name 3 of the first 4 fully fleshed out and designed characters of Overwatch. None of the ones that GH named were correct.
Hope you paid attention.
So I can only name 3.
You can name, just name 3 of the 4.
Mercy, Torb, and Reaper.
A Reaper was 1. No Dice, and you're not getting any bonus points for this. But can you name any of the other 3?
I was gonna say Winston, Tracer, Farah.
Tracer for sure. I was thinking.
Farah, Reaper, and Widowmaker was the correct answer.
Tracer
so I got
is a
2 of them.
major
No
person in the
points,
comics.
no
So
points.
like,
2
I
of
don't know
them.
why I didn't think of that. Oh shit.
Waffle Cone, you're up. Waffle Cone, you played this game featuring voice acting by Caroline Curry, Brian Deckert, and Jesse Williams, among others.
Detroit Become Human.
Yes, sir. That is correct.
I only know this because I actually watched Brian Deckert's stream. So
Waffle Cone, well done. Waffle Cone and No Dice tied with 1 point apiece.
Uh,
No Dice TV. This game was named PC Game of the Year in 2013 by GameSpot and Best PC Role-Playing Game of 2013 by IGN.
PC role-playing game of 2013. Tomb Raider?
I'm sorry, the correct answer was Path of Exile.
Path of Exile.
Of Exile.
this is your chance, GH. You
Oh,
know I'm
Gamer
gonna
Heroine.
lose. You know I'm
Gamer
gonna
Heroine.
lose. So
This game became the fastest selling video game by publisher Bandai Namco Entertainment America, becoming the company's most successful day one launch?
I play so many Namco games. Fuck. God, I play like 5 Namco games. God damn it, Fish. Oh no. Read it again.
Sure.
Maybe I'll-
This game became the fastest selling video game published by Bandai Namco Entertainment America and became the company's most successful day one launch.
Fuck. Chat, quick.
No.
The
No,
clock
no,
is
no,
ticking,
no,
GH.
no.
5 seconds.
I
The answer, Gamer Heroine, was Dark Souls 3.
Fuck!
Dark
I wanted to say it, but I was
3.
like, no!
Man, you know what? Dark Souls
No!
is just
No!
punishing even in trivia questions.
Waffle Cone. What is the name of the pop man in Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy?
Dionysus,
Final answer?
Diogenes.
Yes. Okay.
He has a name?
Yes, he does have a name, and Waffle Cone got it correct. Waffle Cone now in the lead with 2. Oh my god!
Can
That
I
was
get
the
a
most terrifying face I've ever seen in my
I
life?
want a screenshot and an emote of that just for nightmare status.
No dice. That was really scary.
Yeah,
No
I know,
Dice
right?
Heroes of the Storm features heroes from Blizzard franchises including Warcraft, Diablo, StarCraft, Overwatch, and this little known SNES game.
Lost Vikings.
Yes, indeed, that is correct. No
Yeah.
Dice, 2 points. Gamer Heroine, this is for pride only. Pride only.
Oh.
Introversion Software, Mark Morris of Introversion Software, one of this game's co-founders, released a crowd-funded alpha and received over $9 million in funding by December 2013. One of the most successful early crowd-funded games. The full game was released on October 6th, 2015.
What was the company?
Introversion Software. One of the
I'll
most
play it.
successful crowd-funded games.
God, I have 0 nerd status right now. Like you took my nerd card and like threw it in the gutter and flushed down the drain.
Gamer Heroine, that game was called Prison Architect.
Really?
Architect.
Oh.
One of the most
Yeah, I want to
successful
guess that.
crowdfunded games of all time.
So you got to have a
Okay,
tiebreaker.
Waffle Cone, this is for the win. This is for the outright win right here, Waffle Cone. You could win.
Oh God, stop making that face.
Waffle Cone, the Saw Chapter DLC for Dead by Daylight saw the release of a new killer, the Pig, a new survivor, David Tapp, and this new map.
What's the name of it? Crap. I'm just gonna. It's. I can't. I don't remember if it's just like something generic or not. I know it's wrong, but I'll just say like factory. I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. No Dice, you know this one? You look like you
Or-
know.
oh no! It's the game. Is it the game?
No.
Is it just called the game? Okay, I have no
No.
idea then.
I feel like it was like I feel like it was the laboratory or something like that.
The name of the new map was the Gideon Meat Plant.
Oh, I have
Ew.
no clue.
Meat
Nope,
plant.
never
You
read
went for
that
the
one.
hard ones. Holy
I didn't
shit.
prepare any more questions, you guys.
It's
I
2
don't
versus
have
2.
any more
You have to.
questions.
You got to do something.
I gotta do. I have to do something. All right, let me quickly.
Generic gaming trivia. Ready, go.
Oh, great.
Bar
we're just-
trivia.
it's-
What
It's
are my
gonna be-
top 3 categories?
Fortnite. Dota 2.
I am going to pull up a streamer who neither of you is extremely familiar with, but he is, in fact, the face of the platform.
Oh.
Guys, how many followers, closest without going over, does the streamer Ninja have at this very moment?
Closest without
Closest
going over.
Without going over. And Waffle Cone, you type it in Discord first, and then because No Dice can't see it, and then No Dice, you can tell me verbally.
Okay.
Okay, No Dice.
1.2 million.
Neither of you were very close, but the closest without going over, Price is Right rules, of course, was No Dice TV, who wins this third game in a row. The correct answer was 12,374,680.
he was closer anyway.
I must be thinking of his sub count, not his follower count.
Okay.
Quite a bit.
All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the game. It did take a little bit to pull together. Gamer Heroin, I'm sorry you didn't perform as well as you had hoped in the game this week. Maybe my questions for you were a little tough. Maybe they were a little tougher. But
Let's go with it. Let's go with it.
No Dice, I'm shocked that you got Lost Vikings. That's a weird
I actually played that game. And
that's a weird one.
And you're talking to one of the biggest Blizzard fanboys to ever exist.
I figured
Rock
you'd get
and
the
Roll
start-
Racers, Lost Vikings, all of them. I know the entire Blizzard history, man.
I was pleasantly surprised that Waffle Cone got Diogenes.
Yeah.
I
Top
had
man
no
and
idea.
getting over it.
I had no idea. And I think I played that game longer than everybody because I couldn't actually beat it.
Oh man, that clip is still one of my all-time favorites. No Dice.
It was a good night.
Riding the snake.
It was a good night.
All right, well, let's find a friendly face to go host tonight. A friendly ladders down face. Let me see who's on the stream planner. GH, any ideas?
I'm looking.
Any ideas? Let's see here.
Ladders Down is streaming right now. We could host it.
Oh my God, that'd
I
be great.
love
We
those
never
guys.
get to host those guys. What about Evo? We hosted Leaf last. time, I wanna say.
Okay.
What
Oh,
about
real quick,
Evil's back?
before we go, we may want to address because I just noticed this actually when we were talking about our big announcement of our announcement. Actually, not our next stream, but the stream after that will fall on Christmas Day, and if we try and hold it, I will not be here.
No, yeah, that's a good point, Waffle. Is that we'll
Oh.
very likely be missing our first podcast, not the next one, which will be on December 11th, but the one after
Christmas.
Yeah, on Christmas? Nah,
on
brah.
Christmas. So everybody's got to leave your family and come talk about nerd stuff. We're gonna host tonight. Our buddy The Evil is back. He's playing some 7 Days to Die PvP, which sounds pretty fun. He's a little lonely over there, so let's give him some love, some ladders down love. As always, you guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be back on December 11th. Make sure that you send that ladders down love with as many of these ladders down emotes as you have. So all of these wonderful streamers that you're sub to, show Evil some love from ladders down. And until the 11th, my name is Fishsuit. I stream at twitch.tv/FSHSUIT. You can also find me on Twitter with the same name.
My name is Gamer Heroin. You can find me at twitch.tv/gamerheroin with an E at the end, so it's not the drug.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
I don't know why. I thought you'd have more.
I guess you're on that side because the camera flipped.
Here I am. I am Wafflecone. You can find me at twitch.tv/Wafflecone, just Wafflecone, no underscores or anything, as well on Farmers Only streaming.tv/Wafflecone.
And my name is No Dice. I'm on twitch.tv/NoDiceTV. I'm also on Twitter, and as we talked about, Instagram, all under the No Dice TV handle. And to counterpoint Wafflecone, Christian Mingle. Goodbye, everybody.